Howdy, 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 remote students, and welcome back to another awesome week here at Southeast of Saline. Alrighty, so a lot of great stuff is happening in the next week. So even though you guys are remote, you guys are more than welcome to still participate, even though we are at home. So what you need to do is next week starts our anti-bullying prevention week, okay? And so this is where we get to dress up, a different theme for each and every day. How exciting. And I've chosen some really cool themes for us to really express that we do not do bullying here at Southeast of Saline. So we are going to first share my screen real fast before I get ahead of myself. Let's share. And let me tell you a little bit about Anti-Bullying Week. But before we get there, okay, so this week's theme, this week's little quote of the week says, the best thing is to hold on to life is each other. So take a look at wherever you're at. See at all the people who are around you. Those people will mean so much to you because they will be there for you every step of the way. So hold on to them, cherish them, and enjoy them. Alrighty, so moving on to our anti-bullying week. So this year's theme is true kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. These are our themes for Anti-Bullying Week. So Monday, hats off to a great week. Use your head before you act. So wear a hat, take a selfie, send it to your teacher, and your teacher will send it to me. Tuesday, we are all different. Shows how crazy you are by wearing your crazy socks. So get out your funky socks and wear them. Wednesday, we unite together as one. Like our country, we have freedom. So wear red, white, and blue, and let's show our pride that way. Thursday is kind of shows many different colors. Wear neon colors or wear tie-dye, your choice. Show how many glorious different colors there are with kindness. And then Friday, we will wrap it up with we choose acceptance. Show your school spirit and wear purple because that's who we are. We are Southeast, my friends. So these are our themes for next week. I will be sending out daily videos, so feel free to check in and see what I am teaching about throughout that whole week. I will be doing a couple of fun activities that you guys are more than welcome to come join while being at home. So this week, with our next block of the pyramid success is self-control. And this is something that for you guys have always been hearing back and forth about. We have to have self-control when we're in class. There are times where we can be silly and funny, and then there are other times that we really need to control ourselves. So I found this really, really cool video that talks about self-control and how it helps us with our great inner strength and how we can be better well-being. So let's take a look at this video.
Self-control, teaching students about their greatest inner strength. What's the key to health, wealth, and success? You might think it's your looks, your background, or your intelligence. Think again. Self-control is our greatest human strength and the easiest to improve. Just think of your heroes, Mother Teresa, Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, and Nelson Mandela. They had different backgrounds and different skills, but they share one thing in common: self-control. They overcame obstacles. They persevered in the face of failure and frustration, and they worked harder than others to achieve their goals. You might think you're worlds apart from these self-control icons, but I'm here to show you that you have that same ingredient that will help you achieve your goals. What is self-control? It has three parts. Monitoring, how much we keep track of what we're doing, how often you weigh yourself, check your bank balance, or keep track of your grades. Standards, these tell you what's appropriate. Laws tell us how fast we're supposed to drive. They tell us why we should wear a suit instead of flip-flops to a job interview. And they tell us how to live up to our moral ideals. And strength, this is the energy to use self-control. Self-control is fragile. If you use it, you have less energy left over later. Why should we study self-control? 3 reasons. Self-control improves individual well-being. People with better self-control have better mental health, better physical health, they get better grades, and they're less likely to struggle with alcohol and drug abuse. To illustrate, one study wanted to see which was more important in predicting success in school, self-control or intelligence. They measured self-control and intelligence at the beginning of the year and then waited patiently to see how well the students did in their classes at the end of the year. The result? Self-control was twice as important as intelligence in predicting academic success. Self-control also improves relationships. It might even help you deal with frustration, but no one had conducted an experiment to see whether self-control helps people overcome their aggressive urges. To test this, we had college students come to a laboratory for what they thought was a taste testing study. Unbeknownst to the students, they had been randomly assigned to two different groups. The first group was given a plate that had a tasty donut on it. The experimenter said, "We want to get your opinion on how the donut tastes." Next, the experimenter waited as the student was close to taking the first bite of the donut. Once the student's mouth was open, the experimenter interrupted and said, "Wait, I messed up. Please don't eat the donut." The experimenter then left the room for 6 minutes. The second group was told the same thing, but this time they couldn't eat a radish instead of a donut. Imagine what those 6 grueling minutes were like. Forcing yourself to avoid eating a tempting donut probably took a lot of energy, much more than forcing yourself to avoid eating a radish. Next, we ignited an aggressive urge by having all participants get some insulting feedback. Did the mentally fatigued students behave most aggressively? They did. They made a stranger suffer by making them eat lots of unpleasant, spicy food. What's this energy resource that becomes depleted? One group of researchers stumbled on the solution in what they initially thought was a failed experiment. They gave some students an opportunity to indulge themselves, thinking this would undo the depletion effect. It did, but there was another surprise. Giving students a gloppy, bad-tasting beverage with lots of calories did the same thing. A large body of work now points to the importance of energy as part of the resource that's involved in willpower. Giving depleted people a boost of glucose reduces their aggression, their irrational decision-making, and their financial impulsiveness. It tells your brain that energy is coming on board, and you have to allocate your energy effectively. But wait a minute. If willpower relies on a common biological process, is it necessary to have sophisticated mental machinery in order to show these depletion effects? Would animals show them? And would a boost of glucose restore them to their normal selves as it does with humans? My colleagues and I tested this possibility using dogs, 2 of which were my own golden retrievers. We depleted dogs by having them sit and stay for 10 minutes. Another group just sat in a kennel. Afterwards, we gave the dogs a toy that had food in it, but we rigged it so they could never get any of the food out. We timed how long they tried. Don't worry, we gave them lots of treats at the end of the study. The depleted dogs persisted about half as long as the non-depleted dogs. In a second study, we undid this effect by squirting glucose in some of the dogs' mouths. So the same thing that undid self-control failure in humans worked with dogs. Let's wrap up by talking about 4 things you can do to improve your self-control. As we've seen, improving your self-control has big payoffs, including better health, relationships, and success in school. You can start to see results quickly. First, become a mental energy accountant. This relates to our discussion of monitoring. You keep track of your daily activities. Do you also keep track of when you'll spend your limited mental energy? For the next 2 weeks, plan your activities not only according to when they'll happen, but also how much energy you'll need to do them. Second, build your self-control strength. Self-control relies on an all-purpose energy resource, so it doesn't matter how you practice it. You get stronger the more you practice. For the next 2 weeks, try using your non-dominant hand to complete everyday tasks like cooking and brushing your teeth. The idea is that you have to override your natural impulse to use your dominant hand, which is what self-control is all about. It seems crazy, but studies have shown that this self-control strengthening exercise pays off. Third, play offense against your environment. Take control over your surroundings. When you can't keep your eyes off your cell phone, try turning it over. You'll be surprised at how easily you'll pay attention when you don't have to worry about looking at your phone. And fourth, take the mind out of the middle. Self-control hurts because we battle against ourselves. Should I exercise now or later? Should I eat 1 or 2 slices of cake? If you want to study more, set up a contract with yourself. Whenever I get home from class, I'll do 30 minutes of studying. Sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? Today we covered one of humanity's greatest strengths, self-control. Each day we marvel at people who appear faultless when it comes to their willpower. And we ask ourselves, why don't I have more self-control? We can't make much progress at achieving our goals if we don't know about the basics of self-control, what it is, why it's important, and how it works. By resolving this mystery underlying self-control, we can gain a new appreciation for people we regard as our heroes and understand that we have what it takes to achieve our goals and lead a happy, healthy, and successful life.
Alrighty, so that is an excellent video of what we are getting ready to talk about next. So some of us might be thinking, self-control, we've heard about this for many, many years. So where at in the brain does self-control mainly work? So back to our brain lesson that we did a couple weeks ago, we have a left hemisphere and then a right hemisphere. So you guys remember back in kindergarten, first grade, your teachers would like, kiss your brain. So you go, and then do that. So your forehead right here contains something called the prefrontal cortex. And now something that is very interesting about this prefrontal cortex, it does not fully develop until you are 26. Like, you are an adult, you're living life, and your brain does not finish developing until you are 26. So we have this here developed, it's more like a hollow shell and it's developing on the inside. And so the weird thing is about the prefrontal cortex, it does have a left side and then it also has a right side. So if you think about the left side, remember, when we learned about our left and right hemispheres, the left side controls the right side and then the right side controls the left side. So it's really different when we talk about the prefrontal cortex because both sides are still working for a common goal, and but there might be a little something different when it comes that time. So your left side on the prefrontal cortex controls your empathy, services, and inspiration, and controls your values. Your right side is your self-interest, your competitiveness, your status, your power control, and then your impulse control. So when we talk about self-control, we think of our brain. Our brain is like a computer screen. It keeps track of everything that we do, and it just keeps collecting all this data in memory. So when we talk about self-control, we're talking about short-term goals and long-term goals. The better self-control we have, the more short-term goals we will be able to accomplish. And the more short-term goals we're able to accomplish, the long-term goals get easier and easier in sight. That is self-control at its finest. Self-control is also like being able to decipher your wants and your needs. Do I want this or do I need this? Kind of like the piece of cake thing. Am I getting one piece of cake or am I 2 pieces of cake? Which one? Is it a want or is it a need? Think about that. And then also when we have a great self-control, our well-being, your mental health, you will feel better as a person. Trust me, it is something that we all need to work on daily. Self-control. Sometimes these electronic devices get in our way of, oh, I need to be on social media, or what's on YouTube, who's my new famous celebrity and what they're posting their videos on. Self-control, my friends, we can do it. So, like in the video, it talked about, let me unshare my screen so you guys can see this. Alrighty, there's me again. Okay, so in the video, how can we work on self-control? Quite curious. Okay, so I am a left-handed person. Some of you guys may have a hard time being like, what? There's not many left-handed people in the world, and that's something I hold dear to my heart. There are some left-handers out there, so high five to all left-hand people. So I want you to start conditioning yourself, but this is also a fun activity to do. Do everything with your less dominant hand. Now, this might look like brushing your teeth. Like Miss Harp's left-handed, I'll brush my teeth with my right hand. I definitely do not do that. Need to do that more. Or like if you're helping mom and dad cook, stir the pot with your right hand if you're left-handed. If you're right-handed, you stir the pot with your left hand. Write your name. So for instance, Miss Harp, up here is left hand, down here is right hand. You can tell that one looks like a kindergartner, other looks like a nice written out signature. Another thing is, feel free to draw a picture. So I draw a couple of fun things. We have a heart, a star, and a smiley face. The top line is with my right hand, looks like a kindergartner, and that's fine. But the bottom is my left hand. So small things like that that we can do every day for self-control is something that will make us more well-rounded as a person. One last thing, I just thought of one interesting fact about our prefrontal cortex. So it doesn't develop until we are about 26. And so currently right now, your prefrontal cortex will redevelop every so often. So my sixth graders at this point in time, your prefrontal cortex in your forehead is redeveloping, it's reconfiguring, it's making new wires and new plugins to help you become a better person. So sometimes when we are trying to abstractly think or try to fully process, sometimes we might just have air bubbles, or we just look up and we don't know what we're seeing. It's because our brain is developing in that area. And that's okay to have those moments. So work on your self-control for this week, my friends. If you have any questions about Anti-Bullying Week, you know you can always email me. I am so happy and thrilled to see all your guys' awesome improvement. Keep up the great and awesome work this week. And I will see you guys next week. So have a marvelous Wednesday. We'll see you. Bye.